in the care of a family member. Is that correct?
Correct. She was supposed to be given on the very first court hearing, but they refused to do so and kept on trying to play games.
Cynthia Becker, and this is The Secret, How to Fight Child Protective Services and Win. I'm on the air tonight with attorney Vince Davis in California and Greg Hausworth in Texas. Hello, gentlemen. How are you tonight?
Good evening.
Doing well.
Thank you for joining. Greg, it's great to have you. So you've been an attorney for quite a while. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Thank you, Cynthia. Listen, I'm a board-certified family law specialist here. I practice in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. I have been licensed since 1986. Interestingly, my first job out of law school was working as an assistant district attorney representing Child Protective Services in the Dallas County District Attorney's Office. So I spent several years in the District Attorney's Office, and from there moved into private practice, where I went to the other side of the fence, so to speak, and began representing families responding to investigations involving allegations of abuse or neglect.
So you've been doing this, 35 years now?
Well, I try not to keep count at this point.
But you've been doing
it a long. I think your math is right. I think the math is right. I will have to admit.
You know, I'm in Los Angeles County primarily, and there's, I think about 23 or 24 courtrooms that service the CPS juvenile dependency area. How many courtrooms do you guys have going in Dallas?
In Dallas County, there are two, count them, two courts specifically dedicated to child welfare and juvenile delinquency matters.
And is that the county you primarily practice in, Dallas County?
I'm in Dallas and Tarrant County, which is Fort Worth. So I work equally in both of those counties.
For our listeners that might want to contact you there in the state of Texas, what's the best office phone number and email address and maybe website you can give them to contact you?
Sure. The office number is 817-923-9999. My email, which I always respond to, is my name, Greg, Greg, at F as in Fort, W as in Worth, familylaw.com. The website is www.law2tolife.com.
Very good. Now, Greg, this is what we're going to do. We're going to be taking calls from the audience. They're from all over the country. And we're going to be listening to their story, and we're going to be answering their questions. Now, I'm licensed in California, so I answer questions as if they're, in California. And I'd like you to answer questions as if you were in Texas. So you ready to take our first call?
Love to.
Okay, let's talk to Elizabeth from Virginia. Elizabeth.
Yes.
Do you have a story to tell or a question to ask?
Kind of both.
Go ahead.
Well, our daughter was taken by CPS in Virginia on January 21st. We asked them for the allegations, me and my husband, and they yelled in our face and said, no, we need to see the child, and were refusing to give us the allegations. After 3 court hearings, they finally said that their allegations they took her on were false and they illegally took our child. Then they did what they call a preliminary child protective order, which she was given to my sister from them. Now, they have on the paper that their department's rights of my daughter has been terminated and revert back to the parents. But my question is, how can they do a protective order after just admitting they illegally took the child on false allegations and their rights were terminated and reverted back to us as parents?
So, Greg, let's imagine that Elizabeth is from Texas. What would you tell her?
Elizabeth, I'm so sorry for this situation. And is your child, how many children are we talking about?
I just have one daughter.
And how old is she?
She will be 18 months old on the 10th.
Oh, wow. So she's young. Okay.
She was born premature, so that doesn't help matters.
Exactly. So there are. Your little girl now is in the care of a family member. Is that correct?
Correct. She was supposed to be given on the very first court hearing, but they refused to do so and kept on trying to play games.
Okay. You know, the first two words that come to my mind when I hear your story, and this applies wherever you are in these wonderful 50 states, the two words are this: due process. Okay? And what that means is that it's a basic legal concept that when the state is intervening into your life and taking this type of drastic action, that you are entitled to understand the allegations and entitled to defend against those allegations. So if this were a Texas situation, and let's see if there's some similarity here. If this were a Texas situation and there was an out-and-out removal from the home, okay, so our Texas Family Code has very specific provisions that guide Texas CPS workers as to the circumstances or the findings they need to make to justify the removal from a child from a home immediately, okay? And that type of situation is there has got to be a serious and immediate danger to the child. There's got to be no other way to remediate or to fix that situation, and the urgency of the situation require that the child be taken from the home, okay? Now, when that child is taken from the home, our CPS office, they have 3 days to get their affidavit on file, okay? That affidavit is a statement from the caseworker that explains why they took this type of severe action against you. That has to be right then and there reviewed by a judge, and that judge has to make a determination as to whether, based on that affidavit, there is sufficient cause to keep your child in care until such time as a full evidentiary hearing is held, okay? So do you recall, Elizabeth, being given any court papers that you were able to sit down and read those allegations?
They gave us an affidavit, but they told us the affidavit is not the allegations. It's what they received from other CPSs that we have already had shut down cases in because they found them unfounded, and which that is what it is. It's all about the cases that were closed and the ones that we already had closed and unfounded.
Right. Okay. And so that goes into the concept, especially when you do have a CPS history like that. The CPS workers start to incorporate this word that we use here called risk, R-I-S-K. And that's a very general subjective term that they start to get into, and they're looking at those prior histories, whether they were found reason to believe or ruled out or whatever the story was, okay? So you had a couple of court hearings where you provided court-appointed counsel.
We were, and our
2 minutes.
They are for CPS, so they have actually taken and accepted everything CPS has said. We have not been able to present anything on our side at all to prove our case.
Okay.
Now they're unwilling to, so it's sad.
Okay, so I want to think, and I know this has been terrible and it's been bad, but there's nothing that we can do for you tonight to rewrite history. What we need to do is we need to look forward and think about the next steps in this process. Okay, so how much time are you getting with your baby now that she's placed with a family member?
Well, we are getting about 3 hours Monday, Tuesday, and Fridays. But unfortunately, I was born in an Amish Mennonite home, so they're very controlling and manipulative, which is really hard because they want to do stuff with my daughter, put her on stuff that she doesn't need, which I was on 30 psychomeds, which caused me to have liver and kidney damage. That I didn't need them, so it caused that.
Hey, Elizabeth?
Yes.
You know, this is Attorney Vince Davis. My engineer is telling me we have to go to our first break. If you want to continue this conversation, you can call Greg. He gave his number at the top of the show. Or you can call me, 888-888-6582, and promise to call back in about 3 or 4 weeks to give us an update to the audience about what your case is going on, what's going on in your case. Okay?
That would be great. Thank you so much, Vincent. And can you give me, I was not quick enough to get, what did you say his name was? Gray's number?
Greg, what's your telephone number again?
Right, I'm Greg. So Elizabeth, okay, when you're ready, Elizabeth.
All right, hold on a second.
817-923-9999.
Okay, thank you again, Elizabeth, for calling, and thank you for listening. This is The Secret, How to Fight Child Protective Services and Win, and we'll be back after these messages.
You're listening